Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another video. Today for you guys, I thought we'd do another gaming discussion video, seeing as it has been a little while since we last did one of these. Today for you guys, I wanted to bring you a video bitching and talking about something that I have actually wanted to talk about for a little while, but I've held off from doing so. Just because of the fact that I wanted to kind of give Sony more time to see exactly what they're going to be doing with the whole PS2 Classics thing. But now, because we're at the end of 2019, and there hasn't been a single PS2 Classic release for PS4 throughout this year, I think it's safe to say that Sony have given up on the whole PS2 games for PS4 thing. Today I just pretty much want to rant a little bit about the PS2 Classic service for PS4 that ended up launching back in 2015, allowing you to play select different PS2 games that Sony bring forth to be able to play on your PlayStation 4. It was a pretty exciting time when we first got the announcement of this. This was actually to commemorate the 20th anniversary of PlayStation, and of course what better way to do so than to bring through PS2 Classics to the most current PlayStation system. Not only that, but there was just such a huge demand for being able to play PS2 games on the PlayStation 4. Backwards compatibility is always a popular thing in amongst gamers. It's always nice being able to play those old school games that you used to play as a child, but on your most up-to-date system. So it was pretty damn exciting, and especially for myself too, PS2 is my all-time favorite video game console ever. It's where I pretty much got into the whole video game thing. So you can imagine me, I was definitely nerdgasming when we got this information. However though, the rate in which these PS2 Classic games have been coming out has been slowing down substantially over the years. It seems that at first Sony were prepared to bring a massive catalog worths of PS2 games to the PS4. Even on the original blog post talking about this, Shuei Yoshida actually mentioned that Sony will be working tirelessly to bring forth PS2 games to PS4 on a regular basis. And I do have to say that ever since the release of this PS2 Classic thing for PS4, the whole release of PS2 games on the system has not been regular whatsoever. Sure, 2016 and 2017 was pretty good, but still, that being said, there's only a total of 54 PS2 Classic games on the PlayStation 4. And in 2018, only 2 games were added, and in 2019, only 1 game was added at the very start of the year. So yeah, with the new consoles coming out at the end of 2020, end of next year, I think it's safe to say that Sony have pretty much given up on this, which is a little bit sad. The reason why I did want to talk about this is because when we do look back on, say, the PS2 Classics for PlayStation 3, there were a whopping 336 PS2 games that you could simply purchase off of the PlayStation Store. Now, what I do know is there's a little bit of a different dynamic between the PS2 Classics on PS4 and the PS2 Classics on PS3. The ones on PS4 actually have increased resolution up to that of 1080p, as well as the trophy support, which does mean that the developers actually have to go through these games and add the appropriate trophies in the appropriate spots. So in the sense of it, there is a little bit more work that needs to go into bringing a PS2 game to PS4, opposed to the simple PS3 method, where the system is just essentially emulating the game, no more, no less. As well as that, there is no trophies for any of the PS2 Classics for PS3, unless of course you are playing the specific HD Collections version of that game for the likes of, say, like Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, or Jak and Daxter. Those actually did receive proper remasters with trophy support and enhanced resolution, but an actual team of developers had to band together in order to bring that to the PS3. The PlayStation 4 is still emulating the PlayStation 2 games that you're able to play from the PS Store. As we know, of course, we still see that classic PlayStation 2 boot up logo appear. However though, the emulator is pushing the game to 1080p, and we do have that added extra trophy support. So yeah, the dynamic between the PS2 Classics on PS3 to that of the PS2 Classics on PS4 is definitely different. That being said though, 54 games since the end of 2015, I ain't happy. Now what I will say is Sony did do a good job of selecting quite a few good PS2 games in amongst those 54 that we do have. We got, obviously Jak and Daxter 1, 2, 3, as well as X. We got Dark Cloud 1 and 2, we got all of the classic Grand Theft Autos, Bully, Destroy All Humans, The Warriors, Wild Arms. Sony did pretty good, but also at the same time, it's kind of like, well, you also missed out on Sly Cooper, Ratchet & Clank 1, 2, 3, and Gladiator, Simpsons Hit and Run, the older Tekken games, Gat Dang, Silent Hill, and the one that I'm just absolutely blown away by that we didn't end up receiving is God of War 1 and 2, considering that obviously Sony owned the studio. It's surprising to see that they never brought through the classic God of War games to PS4, just considering all the hype around God of War 2016. That would have been the prime time to release those older God of War games through the PS2 Classics thing for PS4. Now, what I do understand is a lot of the PS2 Classics that are currently on PS4, a lot of those games are actually published by Sony, meaning that the process in order to actually redistribute these games onto the PS4 digital marketplace is a little bit more straightforward. I understand in the sense of, you know, like, say, something like Simpsons Hit and Run, you would probably need to get in contact with the parent company in order to get the rights to be able to redistribute it onto the digital platform. But hey, it's not like Sony's pockets are paper thin, you know what I'm saying? If they really want a PS2 game to get onto the platform, I'm sure they can make it happen. And I do also understand that it is hard to absolutely please everyone. I can say that within those 54 games that are currently on PS4, there's probably at least one game within that entire list that you played back in the day that you appreciate playing nowadays on your PS4. The reason why this is actually so important to me, though, is definitely for the preservation of video games. When looking towards the older Nintendo games, or of course PS2 games, PS1 games, even older Xbox games, in order to actually play a lot of those titles, you actually have to go online and find someone who's actually selling an old pre-used physical copy. And these days, those older games are only increasing in price. So I do hope that for the PlayStation 5 era, Sony work out this whole backwards compatibility thing a little bit better. Specifically when we do look towards the Xbox side of things, I think that one thing that Xbox are absolutely killing us right now is their backwards compatibility. There's currently over 500 different Xbox 360 and original Xbox games that you can currently play on your Xbox One. And yes, although I know that for the likes of the original Xbox games, there isn't achievement support like there is for the PS2 Classics on PS4, but when you do still play a 360 game on your Xbox One, you're still getting achievements. What I am basically saying is Xbox nailed the backwards compatibility thing, and it is one thing that Sony really need to start buckling down on, especially in the sense of old school titles. We do already know that the PlayStation 5 is going to be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, so that is a really good start to see that Sony are getting back into the swing of backwards compatibility. Although we don't really know too much about PlayStation 5 as of right now, what we do know is it will be backwards compatible with PS4. We don't really know all the ins and outs towards what exactly that means, whether or not that means that you can access your PlayStation 4 downloads list and download anything off that PS4 download list to your PlayStation 5 and play it. If so, that means that you will be able to play those PlayStation 2 Classic games on PS5, which if that is the case, I really do hope that for PS5 going forward, Sony support the PS2 Classics thing better, in the sense of what Shuei Yoshida originally said in the blog post: release these games on a regular basis, and also release the PS2 games that make sense to release. I just find it so confusing that we don't have Sly Cooper and Ratchet & Clank at least. We got Jack, that's fine, that's fucking great. Where's the Lombax and the raccoon, dude? Anyway, guys, that is basically all from me today, and this is something that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, but I just wanted to give Sony more and more time to see exactly if they were eventually going to do anything with this. But it seems like now that we are at the end of 2019, I think the whole PS2 Classics thing is currently on the back burner until, of course, we get the PlayStation 5. Now, guys, in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts and opinions towards exactly this. If you could have any PS2 game brought through to the PS2 Classics for PS4 or for the future of PlayStation 5, let me know what it is. Guys, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stain. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up your bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.